What it do, E-World? Good morning time, good afternoon time, good evening time. Whatever the case may be in your part of the world. Crisscross and Wise. Today we're a little quick live stream. I just was going to make a little short 5 or 10 minute video, but instead of having to upload it and all that, when you do a live stream, they will automatically upload it. So I save myself a little bit of work. But this is a discussion that I've talked about on several occasions as to why I will always prefer direct drives over mid drives, planetary drives, them all. Main reason being is regenerative braking, or just regen period, and e-braking. A lot of people do not implement regenerative braking or e-braking, and they're really missing out on the benefits you get from that. Now let me explain the differences, because some people don't understand or don't even think about the differences between the two. Now, e-braking is exactly that, electric brake. Your low brake or your high brake input on your controller is connected to a switch on your brakes, and when you squeeze the brakes, it will automatically apply an electronic brake, which basically is inducing a strong magnetic field in the reverse direction on your direct drive, which stops your bike. And if you've ever used e-brake properly, meaning have it set up and have it tuned and set properly on your controller, you will know that e-brakes can stop your bike for at least up to 80% of your braking power. Not only that, that means saving your pads and your rotors and everything else. I mean, I had the e-brake set so well on my last e-bike that all I had to do was just barely squeeze the brake handle, which you know, enables the switch to kick in my e-brake. And I had my e-brake set kind of high, but that's the way I liked it. I had it set at about 80-90 amps. So my e-brake was doing most of the stopping. The only thing I had to do with my manual brakes was stop it completely. You know, e-brake will slow it down, but it won't dead stop it. So you know, you just have to use your manual brakes to stop it completely. Now, regen is something like e-brake, but regen kicks in as soon as you let off the throttle. If you're flying down the street 40-50 miles an hour and you got that throttle, you know, wherever you have it to get that speed, as soon as you let off the throttle, regen kicks in automatically and starts slowing you down. Now, I've seen all types of YouTubers and e-bikers saying they hate that because it slows them down. Well, duh, that's what it's supposed to do, slow you down. However, you can fine-tune your regen. You can set your regen at a certain percentage. You know, like I had mine set at 15%. 15%, which is just slightly. So if I'm driving along, I still have good coasting power. You know, it's not like my e-brake. When I grab on my e-brake, it's gonna slow me down with a lot of force. No, when I get off the throttle, my regen kicks in at 15%, and that means every time that I'm not on the throttle, I'm charging. Now think about that. Now you don't have to be in a hilly environment or any of that, because I hear people talking all the time about, well, I don't use my Regen because I live in an area where it's flat, or I don't live in the mountains or the hills. Okay, Regen is just not for hilly areas. Regen is for any area. You know, like I said, when I'm riding along and I'm rolling, you know, as soon as I get off that throttle, bam, Regen kicking in at 15%. And 15% can be on my bike most of the time. If I was doing 30-40 miles an hour, 15% would be about 250 to 350 watts of charge. Actually, I was getting like 250 to 350 watts of charge below 20 miles per hour. If I was going above 20 miles per hour and got off the throttle, I would get up to 650 watts of charge going back into my battery. Now, same time, let's compare when I went from Regen to my ebrake. Now the ebrake at 90 amps, if I'm going 40-50 miles an hour and I squeeze my brake and use my electric brake at 90 amps, I might have been charging at 1,500, 2,000 watts of charge going back into my battery when I applied my e-brake. But Regen is just supposed to be a mild charge, and like I said, it made all the sense in the world. I was getting so much more range than other people. You know, we travel the same places. At the end of the ride, we got the same size battery, the same, you know, amp hours and everything. I may have 70-80% battery and they only have 50% battery. That's because, like I said, even if we're not in hilly environments, every time I get off that throttle, I'm charging. Simple as that. So you know, you can set that Regen to whatever percentage you like. 15% was perfect for me. When I exceeded 15%, 20, 25%, that was a little too much. I like to coast also. I like to have a good coasting ability, but 15%, you could hardly notice it, but it was enough to be giving you some charge. And I mean, I look at it like this. 250, 350 watts charging on the Regen. That's like riding around with a couple big solar panels over your head. You know, you're constantly getting charged. While you're burning your battery, you're constantly replenishing it. Now, of course, you can't replenish it as fast as you're burning it, but to have 10, 15, 20% of juice going back into your battery when you're not on the throttle, hey man, it's a beautiful thing. Now, the reason why I always have a discussion about direct drives and mid drives and all that when it comes to Regen, I'm going to show you visually, because a lot of people don't seem to understand what I'm saying about on the mid drives. Now, this is a kid's bike, and if you remember back when you were little, kids bikes, they don't have a freewheel, so you can't spin the pedals backwards. When you push the pedals backwards on a kid's bike with a coaster brake, that's how you stop. Inside of the hub, I don't know how it's made, but when you apply that, you know, pedal backwards and push backwards, that coaster brake there, which, you know, do something inside of the hub that slows you down mechanically. All right, now on our bikes, most of us have a freewheel. So when you pedal backwards, there is no way that pedaling backwards is going to stop you. That being said, is why most mid-drive bikes aren't able to have regen. Now the chain is not on this bike, but think about it. If the chain was on here and this bike had a mid-drive, all right, a mid-drive motor was here spinning the chain. Your chain is your transmission. That's how it rotates the back wheel. The only way you could have regen, well, you really couldn't have regen, because being though it's a chain, it's chain driven, if you were to try to apply that force through that chain to stop this wheel from spinning, it would snap the chain pretty much instantly. Now that's why 95% of mid-drives aren't able to have regen. Now there are some mid-drives that can have regen, like Surons. Surons have regen, but that's because some tech guy figured out a way to use a system. I believe it's called a slump drive. I could be wrong, but I think it's called a slump drive, where it has a chain. It's chain driven from the mid-drive motor, but it also has a belt. It also has a belt that goes to that motor, okay? Now, because it has that belt that's going to the motor, now I don't think they can do the regen when they have the chain, because you notice on Surons they have a kit. A lot of guys complain about that belt that I'm talking about, that belt breaking. So they eliminate the belt that goes to the motor and they put a chain there. So you have a chain going to the motor, and then you have a chain going to the back wheel. Now when you have those two chains, I don't believe you can have mid-drive. I could be wrong, but the reason why I believe you can have mid-drive with the belt is because some type of way they have the tensioner, or possibly the motor is set up whereas though it actually does not stop you by the chain. But if you figure, if you're slowing down, in order to have regen, you have to, that electric motor has to be turning to produce power. If that motor's not turning, then you can't produce regen. So if you because this is a freewheel, when the mid-drive isn't spinning the chain, there's no movement here. So obviously the mid-drive motor can't be turning. However, you notice on Surons, when those guys coast, I believe, I'm gonna have to do some more research on those Surons. I'm gonna get my buddies and check it out. But when they coast, the chain is still moving. On most bikes, like a regular analog bike or BMX bike, any bike that is chain driven with a pedal, when you stop applying the drive through the chain, you're freewheeling, chain stops, but the wheel is still spinning because you have this freewheel. Now, like I said, of course, you can't be producing power without that motor spinning. But with that slump drive, that belt that they have connecting to the motor gives it just enough slippage where it won't lock the chain up and pop the chain. I believe that's how that works. Now, Surons, and I guess the Tellurias, because it's the same damn thing. Well, no, they have a little bit different system. I think they have some gears in their motor or whatever with some oil. But like I'm saying, for the most part on a mid-drive, that's the reason why you can't have regen, is because you have a free wheel. Now, I mean, you just think about that. I was trying to explain that to somebody, and just verbally explaining it to them, they wasn't understanding what I was saying. But If your back wheel is spinning like that, and you have a mid drive, the only way you can slow this wheel down is through the chain. That's the only way the motor can slow this wheel down, is through the chain. And you can't apply that much pressure onto a chain. So that's why mid drives don't have regen for the most part. And not only mid drives, a lot of planetary drives, like this is a hub motor too, but this is a planetary drive. Now, planetary drive has the 3 planetary gears in it and the 1 sun gear in the middle. And, you know, that's amplifying the torque and the RPMs. So you have really no freewheel in a geared drive as well, which is another reason why you can't have regen in planetary drives. Now, they do have 1 or 2 planetary drives, like Grin Technologies. They came out with some type of planetary drive that has a special clutch or something in there that it allows that to have regen. But for the most part, the only bikes that can have regen are direct drives, and that's because direct drives, you know, the hub is part of the motor. As you can see, you got the earth magnets going around there, and the stator is in the middle, and you know, the wheel spins around the stator. So that is the reason why I prefer direct drives over mid drives. And not only that, they're far more reliable, because any mid drive guy would tell you, not Suron guys, but most of the guys with the converted MTBs that use the BBHDs, or you know, whatever those mid drives are, they have a lot of problems with if your chain breaks on the mid drive, you're dead in the water. So, you know, that's just one more thing that can cause you to be stuck. If you're out on the road and your chain breaks on your mid drive, you're done. Now notice, like I said, with this direct drive, it doesn't even have a chain on it. But that doesn't stop a direct drive from working, obviously. See if I turn this on. See, a direct drive doesn't need a chain, because it's, you know, the motor is in the hub. And that's why you can have the regen. But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to do a visual on that. I was talking to somebody the other day, and like I said, I was trying to explain this to him, and I don't know, maybe I wasn't explaining it the right way verbally. So hopefully with this visual, that will help them understand a little better. So that's pretty much it. I'm not going to stay out here and talk forever today. Yeah. Hello? Okay, my bag. I thought somebody was knocking on the door out there. But yeah, let me see. Got a few people up in here. I mean, if anybody has any questions about what I was just talking about, I mean, feel free to throw it up there before I end this live stream. But yeah, I will always be a direct drive guy, because like I said, direct drives are just, they're totally reliable. Hardly anything can go wrong on a direct drive, other than blowing a hall sensor. You know, that's about the worst thing that can happen on direct drives. You know, you burn up a hall sensor, then you're kind of messed up. But if you got a controller that can run sensorless, you can switch your controller over to sensorless, and run without the Hall sensors, the only thing that's going to do is cause you, you know, when you take off, it might stutter a little bit on the initial takeoff, but once the wheel's rolling, you're good to go. You know, that's the only thing. You know, the Hall sensors are position sensors. You know, they let the controller know what position the wheel is in, but a lot of controllers can run sensorless without the Hall sensors. So you can try this. I'll put this out there too. If you have a motor, preferably a direct drive, it doesn't work too well with the planetary drives, but let's say you have a bad Hall sensor. I've experienced different times depending on the situation, because sometimes Hall sensors short. When they short, they definitely cause a lot of problems and you can't run your motor. Or they open. Now when they blow open, it's no short and the motor will still run. It just won't run smoothly. You'll have that stuttering effect, but it will still run. So a lot of times, if you blow a Hall sensor and it's shorted, all you have to do is disconnect that plug, that, you know, your Hall sensor plug, and you may be able to run. You know, it's not going to allow you to run your motor with blown Hall sensors while it's connected, especially if they're shorted. But if you unplug that little Hall sensor plug, you probably can get yourself going. Like I said, it may run a little rough, but you can run without your Hall sensors. So that's just a little tip. I think I blew a Hall sensor one time, and yep, it is shorted, and my controller was not going to let that bike run while that sensor was shorted, but I unplugged it and I rode home. Now, did it run smoothly? No, but I got home. So yeah, let me see, is there anything else I can say about that? Nah, that's pretty much it. I did tell you guys I got my parts in for my bomber bike. So Chris is coming to pick this up today when he gets off, so I can have some room in here. It's probably coming back though, because I still need to do some more programming to that, but I'm waiting on the Bluetooth dongle. Told you guys I accidentally messed the other dongle up. So the original tune that I did is pretty good, but maybe we can fine tune, get a couple more miles per hour out of it. Not only that, I have to activate the Regen, which I was just speaking on, and ebrake. And you can't do that without the Bluetooth dongle and the app. The reason why I didn't have the Regen enabled before, because some of you guys may have seen me talking about this too. When you do have Regen enabled, you have to have those locking washers on the rear wheel. That, let me see if I got one over here. I don't think so, but I don't know what I did with that one. I had one I was demonstrating with, but you definitely have to have a lock washer on both sides when you're using Regen. Otherwise, it will loosen these bolts, because you know when the Regen kicks in, it's applying force in the opposite direction, so that will loosen those nuts. I don't care how tight you have them, you can tighten them up as much as you want, but if you go to use that Regen, it's gonna, as soon as it, you know, goes in the Regen, it's gonna spin a little bit the opposite direction, especially if you have some play in your dropout. Now, like this dropout has a little bit of play in it, which the axle, you know, can you know, rotate just a little bit like that. But that's all it needs to loosen that nut. Now, unlike the dropouts on my bike, the axle fits in there so tight, there's no play at all. So I don't really necessarily need them on that bike. But if you have some play in that dropout as far as that slot, because these axles are slotted, and your dropout doesn't, you know, grab that slot really tight and firm, and your axle can rock a little bit, yeah, that Regen will loosen those bolts. So you have to have those super large lock washers on there. All right, let's see what I got going on here. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Green? What else we got going on? That's pretty much it, fellas. I did post that I got basically 2 bikes worth of parts in, and don't be surprised if one day I pop up with a completely built bike, because I've been wanting to get, you know, build my bike back for some time now. And filming a build, man, it takes forever, and I don't have the patience to wait until I finish filming. So I'm going to throw one of them bikes together like overnight, and the other one I will do a step by step. You know, I will film that one nice and slow, very detailed. But yeah, one of them bikes is going together like that, because I'm fiending. I got the itch. Ain't nobody got no questions, huh? Well, I ain't got that many answers anyway. Let's see, what else? That's pretty much it. I know y'all don't want to hear about my sim racing escapades, but man, I've been having the ball with that shit, fellas. And listen, y'all know, y'all see, it's already getting a little cold. Now, you ain't got to go, you know, batshit crazy like I did and get all that bullshit. You can just get a basic wheel setup with some pedals for about $300 and get going. You know, but most of you guys, if you do it, you ain't gonna be satisfied with that. But I mean, you can do it that way. Yeah, let's see what else we got to talk about. That's pretty much it. I was expecting to come out here and do a little 5-minute video on the direct drives, and you know, try to get my point across with that little visual and call it a day. But then I see it, I got a few people in the chat, so stay for a little while. But yeah, man, this thing right here is a beast. Let me tell you guys, I think I'm gonna grab me one of these too, because like I said, that damn bike I had was too damn heavy. Ain't no way in the world I felt good riding that thing through no trails. But this, I see me trying to do a couple little stunts on this thing, and I might even try to pop some wheelies. But yeah, all right, fellas, I'm gonna get on out of here because I'm running out of stuff to talk about. I just wanted to put that out there. So that's it for now. I may come back a little later on. You know, I just may do a live thing on the one bike that I throw together real quick. You know, maybe I'll do it that way. I'll just do it live, but that won't be a learning thing, because I'ma just be trying to get that thing together as fast as possible. But trust and believe, the one after that, yeah, do a nice and slow one. All right, y'all, so that's it. Take it easy, take care. Yep, I will see y'all soon. Deuces, y'all know what it is. It's a Crooked Finger production. Peace. We out. Thanks for stopping by.